Right, so although it is day 158, I'm actually going to be doing day 145 and day 146's plantings today. I could have done these before I went away, but then I thought they would be spending more time without anyone to keep checking that they are actually alive, so I thought better to do them after I get back. So, this should be a quick one. So we're going to be starting not with Dracaena reflexa, which is going in the hole first. That's just going in as a marker. We're actually going to be starting with something else that I previously used as a companion plant, but can actually get 7 meters tall, which I think qualifies it for tree status. So this is the African milkbush, which is Euphorbia bicompacta. That is actually a bit of a complex name. There's something that I don't quite understand with that because it's not a valid name, but it is the name for this species. But there we go. But that is going to be getting another companion plant as well as the Dracaena. So this is going to be getting a little bit of Peperomia, which is the dwarf rubber plant. It's not related to rubber plants, it's actually more closely related to black pepper, but there we go. That's only going to get lightly watered in because apart from the Dracaena, which has gone into the pre-watered hole, everything here is pre-rooted, even if only slightly in the Euphorbia's case, but it should mean that it doesn't really want to be sitting wet, doesn't need to be sitting wet, and these are succulent, so it doesn't really do to over-soak them so much. So that went in under the sycamore fig, and planting number 2 of tonight for day 146 is actually going in to the area not far from the sycamore fig in the sort of Garcinia would-be thicket. This is actually to improve the density of the thicket, but actually to go on the edge of where the thicket should form. This will actually end up being a subcanopy or canopy tree because some of the trees in here are going to get pretty big, and actually a couple of the fruit trees will be sort of the smallest trees within that and should be pretty happy quite low down. I have seen some wild Garcinias growing in the last couple of weeks in very shaded environments. So I'm pretty confident the Garcinia livingstoni, which is the mangosteen that I planted in this area previously, will be quite happy down low. But this is going to be a Dracaena steudneri, which is one of the native Dracaenas. It's much more tree-like than most of the other natives. I think manii can get quite tree-like, but nowhere near as big. But this is very much inclined to be arborescent, so it will have a single solid central trunk, and then it will send up branches quite high up from that. And as it becomes more of a subcanopy, it'll be a lot easier to maintain it in that sort of branching tree-shaped form rather than the sort of sprawling shape you tend to get from Dracaenas like Reflexa and Fragrance. This is actually going in next to an aloe that has only been popped here to root. It will not be here long term. It has started to root, so it shouldn't mind the sort of pre-seasonal soaking from this, and hopefully it'll actually help it sort of settle in, do a little bit of growing so I can dig it up and move it elsewhere to a more permanent location. It's also getting its own actual companion plant. This time it's a toxic barrier, which is going a little deeper in the soil than it really needs to, just to try and discourage mole rats. Because this is pre-rooted, it shouldn't really suffer some of the stresses which make them really, really palatable to mole rats. So it shouldn't be a concern, but just in case, we're going to be putting this Calico pinnata quite deep down, so those stems will be the first thing the mole rats encounter if they come this way, and hopefully change their mind and go elsewhere and eat something I don't mind them eating. Right, so that should be everything for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you haven't enjoyed it, thank you for watching anyway. Well done. Please tune again tomorrow. I will be planting something else. I haven't decided what yet, but it will probably be something home propagated because it's not the best time of year, I don't think, to be sort of experimenting with things that I'm not familiar with. But we'll see.